Hello and welcome to AFcast. I am your host Malcolm, and today I'm going to be talking about Fallout 76. First, I'm going to say sorry about being absent for the past couple of weeks. Um, but another thing is that I am not going to be doing weekly news anymore. Instead, I'm going to be replacing it with these reviews. The main reason for that is just I don't really enjoy doing them, and honestly, you guys don't really listen to them that much. So I'm kind of just gonna ditch it. Um, so yeah, if I feel like I want to bring it back later, I might, but I doubt it. But I might still try to upload twice a week sometime in the near future, just like doing different things, because I'm going to be adding some other things in the mix besides just game reviews and gaming discussions, and I hope you guys will enjoy those as well. Also, I'm only going to be reviewing games that I've actually played and I've actually got my hands on. It used to be that I would also I would also do a review on games that I haven't quite gotten, but I have done a bunch of research on and watched videos and stuff like that. And I feel like it just isn't the same thing whenever I review it, and I feel a bit more uncomfortable when reviewing. Um, but yeah, so besides all that, let's jump right into it. So about Fallout 76, it is a post-apocalyptic game. It's an action role-playing game, and for those of you who have played the other Fallouts, this is supposed to be a prequel. Honestly, I don't really know what makes it a prequel. Um, it doesn't. Yeah, we'll get into it later. But it's made by Bethesda Studios once again, and there's actually a multiplayer component to this, and it's not like a team versus team or like solo versus solo type deal. It's not versus anything. It's just that other players can exist in your world, which is actually a pretty cool thing that they added. A lot of people don't really like it, but at the same time, the people who don't like it are also the people who asked for it. So, kind of sucks for them. Yeah. So there are actually community events in the game that you are able to complete besides just your normal tasks. So let's jump right into the story. So the thing about the story is that there isn't one. There is pretty much a series of tasks for you to complete, but there isn't a story. You don't really meet anyone. You kind of just walk around. It kind of just gives you a elongated tutorial of how to do stuff, um, and then starts kind of just throwing you into random objectives to complete. I I personally don't really like it. Yeah, it's kind of a mess. If you guys are listening to this, there's probably a high chance that a lot of people dislike this game, and I am one of those people. I really don't like this game. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as any of the Fallouts, and yeah, it's not a well made game, in my opinion. You still wake up in a vault, or at least you don't actually go into the vault or anything like that. You just suddenly are woken up in the vault, and then you kind of find your way towards the vault door, and it gets opened. Like there's no actual story that happens in the vault like usual. Also, yeah, it's just there's no story behind it whatsoever, which is kind of frustrating because it's Fallout. We're used to having this adventure, not just a wasteland that we're supposed to complete tasks in with random other players that are just wandering about. The thing that is nice though is that you can actually create your own buildings and stuff, and it can actually be pretty frustrating because you do have to go out and get supplies for it, and that is pretty much a majority of your play is just going out and getting supplies to repair your weapons or to build your building, and it gets pretty frustrating at times, but it is pretty versatile, which is nice. There's a lot of options for you to pick like what you want and stuff like that, so you can make your building look like anything. And after you're finished, if you're actually at least somewhat decent at building, like it will look pretty good almost no matter what, unless you purposefully make it bad, which I find actually pretty cool. and one of the main things that they actually did right in this game. And enemies will actually attack your base while you're in it. So you do also have defenses that you can set outside, though sometimes they can get through and they can end up destroying some stuff. It is possible. That's one of the reasons it's frustrating. And the cooking and crafting in the game is also pretty well done, though I do feel like it's mostly. I feel like it's necessary for the fact that they don't really have a story. The fact that it's mainly just survival with other people it makes it, it just, that's the only really real reason that they have cooking in it, really. I mean, I don't think they should have it, but in the sense of how they've made this game, I think it is good that they have it. I don't know if you really understand what I'm trying to say here, but like, it's just, I like the cooking mechanics in it, but I don't feel like it's necessary in most Fallout games. But in this one, it is, because there's nothing making up for it, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. And another thing is the environment. The environment does look pretty good, and it has a lot of potential. And they implemented it and everything really well. It's a beautiful landscape of West Virginia, and there is a lot of variation in the buildings. So some might be more run down, some might be, and this is actually the towns, not necessarily the buildings. Some are more run down, some are more, kind of fixed up, which is realistic for a post-war, post-apocalyptic game after nukes have hit, and I find that pretty interesting. And yeah, so I'm just gonna jump into kind of some stuff that is kind of just thrown around, because it's mostly my opinion and stuff. Because honestly, that was most of the facts of the game. I mean, there's not much going on really in the world, and they don't actually introduce you to much in the game. It's probably really confusing if you've never played a Fallout game before. You kind of just come across these random enemies that start attacking you, and that's the same in Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. But they kind of ease, your way into it, and some of the townies will tell you what they are, or how you defeat them or how hard they are. But in Fallout, they just kind of just throw them at you, and it's really. And so, as someone who's played other Fallout games, it's a bit easier for me to understand what the heck is going on. But for most people, they're probably going to get confused at first. Then again, I don't really know, because I did play Fallout 76 with the knowledge of previous Fallout games. I made sure to even play some Fallout games before I got Fallout 76. And yeah, and so that's one reason why I'm really disappointed about the stories, because I was really enjoying the stories in the other Fallouts. This one, there just isn't one. It's just dead. I'm sorry for making it really blunt, but that's how bad it is. It just gives you a bunch of tasks for you to complete, and it's not fun. It's just walk over here and do this. Or go find this person. Oh wait, they're dead. It's and a lot of the people seem somewhat crazy that you find dead along the way. With the different audiobooks that you pick up, which the audiobook books are pretty cool. It's just it's all kind of just it's all kind of just there. It doesn't really feel like it's lived in. Events usually are happening in the other Fallout games. There's someone in need, there are civilizations, there's fights going on. It's just stuff like that, but there's just nothing. It doesn't feel like there's anything going on. It doesn't feel lived in. It's almost quite literally not lived in there. There's no NPCs in the game that you can communicate with. It's just other players that are roaming around. And honestly, this game isn't really that fun without friends. I feel like if you're just playing completely solo, it's not going to be really that interesting whatsoever. I think it's going to be mostly boring. And that's pretty bad. And obviously, the multiplayer aspect, if you like the multiplayer aspect, then go ahead. That part is pretty good. If you're playing with friends and stuff, I bet you that is really fun. But, it is really fun. But, it doesn't feel like a Fallout game. So it's just, I don't know. It's also the environments are really well done, like I said earlier, and they are incorporated correctly, and it looks like West Virginia. It feels like West Virginia. Well, I mean, to my knowledge, I mean, I've only really been to West Virginia once, and that was me driving through. But um, but the actual graphics themselves are kind of meh. I mean, they kind of match Fallout 4, but the problem with that is that it's Fallout 76. So, we've updated our graphics. And not only that, but they're using the same game engine that they've been using for like, what is it now? 21 years? It's older than me. That shouldn't be like that. At that point, you get a new one. You make a new one, or like Halo has made a new one. Halo made a completely new game engine recently, the Slipspace engine, and it looks great. Like the new engine is absolutely amazing. Even the other Bethesda games that they're making, they have other engines incorporated in it. Like they can just use one of those. Like they don't necessarily need to use the same one that they've had since 1997. Yeah, and one reason for ditching the one that, and don't get me wrong, they have updated it. They have updated this game engine, but updating is different than brand new. Because there are still going to be problems with it. I mean, there are a lot of bugs in the game. It used to be really funny. It used to be like we would take videos. We would we would do all that with other Fallout games, and we would laugh at the glitches that happened or the bugs that happened. But like you do that at first at Fallout 76 until you realize that you're only 5 minutes in the game and there's already a bug, and then 10 minutes later there's another one, and then 10 minutes later there's another one, and then 15 minutes later there's another one, and then 10 minutes later, it's just like I've come across so many bugs in just 1 hour of gameplay that it's like I usually come across a bug in a game probably once every, let me see, like 10 hours maybe. And that's usually if they have a moderate like bug system. Like obviously when a game first comes out, they're going to have a lot of bugs in the game. Don't get me wrong. It's happened before, but this it's yeah. It's like I if they fix the bugs, then I'm completely fine. But right now there are a lot of bugs. Like Red Dead Redemption 2 had a bunch of bugs at the beginning of the game, but they fixed it almost instantly. The bugs are still going at Fallout 76 right now. And they're not exactly really planning on fixing them to my knowledge. And like that's really frustrating to me because in other Fallout games they put so much effort in. This feels it just because there's also like server crashes all the time, and that's not even if you have like a bad console or PC, like an outdated one. Like it just crashes randomly. I've probably played it for a total of about like 30 hours, and it's already crashed like 5 times maybe, and that shouldn't happen. And it's not even matchmaking errors or anything like that. It's not even like getting into the game that it crashes. It's just that you'll kind of just be playing, and as soon as you go into an area that has like just stuff going on, then the server just decides to quit. Yeah, it's just also another thing is that there's no VAT system. And for those of you who don't know what a VAT system is, like if you've never played anything else, and I am sorry that because this probably sounds like a rant, and that's because it is. I mean, this game honestly is one of the worst games I've played in a very long time. That has a high reputation and should have been a lot better than it is. It's yeah. I mean, there is an auto aim system for the VAT system, so don't pester me about that because I do know there's this system that's kind of like the VAT system, but it's still not the VAT system, and that kind of frustrates me because I did like the VAT system. It was good, it was well designed, and now it just feels really clunky. So honestly, the whole game, in my opinion, just feels honestly half-assed. It's full price for half a game. It's $60. Okay, just like normal, just like usual, and it shouldn't be. It should be like 25 to $40 maximum. It doesn't feel like Fallout. It doesn't feel like they put any effort in it. It still doesn't feel like they're putting effort in it after all of this hate that they're getting from everyone. And it's not even necessarily that like people are giving them hate. I mean, people are giving them hate, don't get me wrong. But people were disappointed at first. They were giving their feedback, and then Bethesda just didn't respond. And that's what caused everyone to get really mad. Because these things are just going to happen now. I'm not going to go back to the game probably for a while. I might play it every once in a while just because I'm a completionist. So I'm still going to go back and try to like complete the game and complete achievements and stuff like that. But it's just like if a majority of the time that I'm going to play a game alone, it is not going to be Fallout 76. It's going to be one of the other Fallout games that I own. Like if I choose to play a Fallout game. Because it's bad. It's not... Okay, I'm just going to continue before I start getting really frustrated. Once again, I do apologize because I've probably never done an episode like this where I'm getting really frustrated, but honestly, I'm really disappointed in Bethesda. Usually Bethesda is looked up, like a lot of people look up to Bethesda because they do make amazing games. It's like, I mean, it's just really disappointing, honestly. It's not even that I'm angry, it's just that it's disappointing to me. And it just like it looks like Fallout. Don't get me wrong, it looks like Fallout. You know, you've got the vault, you've got the, same game engine, which was one reason why it still looks like Fallout. And it's just like, and the environments still look the same, everything like that. But it doesn't feel like Fallout. You're not going through an adventure, you're going through just a bunch of things that you need to complete, and that's it. There's nothing behind it. There's just a bunch of tasks that you need to do. You're not running into NPCs, you're not running into new towns, you're not trying to deliver messages from people to get certain karma in the game or anything like that. It's, yeah. So, to be completely honest, my rating of this game is 4 out of 10, which is probably the lowest rating I've given. Actually, it is the lowest rating I've given during this podcast. I don't think I've given anything lower than a 7 before. And a 0 is like a bad mobile app game. Like I don't know. If you're a big Fallout nut, then you can probably be on the fence because, you still want to try the Fallout game, but at the same time, it's not Fallout, in my opinion, whatsoever. It's not Fallout. It's just not, I just don't really understand what happened in the process of making it that could have made it so disappointing. And, like, I didn't really realize how bad it was until I started making this episode, which is a bit late. Once again, I am sorry about that. But it's just, it's Fallout. Like, it's supposed to be this great game that everybody, like, sees as, not as a classic, but I feel like everybody sees it as kind of like a good way to kind of like, it's a good game to analyze and try to, pick ideas out of it, like to get inspiration and stuff for other games that you might create, or even just to rate them like I do, like to review them. Like Fallout is a great game to base it off of, but this game is just really bad. I'm sorry for this really weird review, but I mean, yeah, so I wouldn't recommend getting Fallout 76. Otherwise, you'll be disappointed too. If you do like playing, like if you do like messing around and playing with your friends and building stuff in cool environments, and especially if you like that whole idea of like getting attacked, like your base getting attacked and stuff like that by other things, kind of like Terra Tech, then by all means go ahead. Like it's perfect for that. But for a Fallout game, it's bad. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that before I keep repeating myself over and over again about how bad it is. But yeah, game on.